Hi guys, my name is Harvey Toadface and welcome to a Theorycraft video today. I was going to do some spoiler videos on the Kaldheim spoilers and go through some of the cards, but I thought I'd go about it a different way and start crafting some decks around some of the archetypes that seem to be benefiting quite a lot from the Kaldheim release. This first one is basically Angels. Angels look to be fairly strong within Kaldheim now. There's a lot of Angels going on. The main card in this deck is Theorycraft's Retribution. Now this deck, the concept of it is to create as many Angels as possible, then use the Theorycraft's Retribution ability to basically win the game. So we're going to go through this deck and we'll go through each card and we're going to describe what I'm kind of going for. In the comments below, if you have any suggestions on what to change, then do let me know. So, first of all, we have Speaker of the Heavens, which we know from playing mono white. It's 1/1 with Vigilance and Lifelink, and then you tap it, you create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. Activate this ability only if you have 7 life more than your starting life total. So we've got 4 of those. We then have Angelic Ascension. Exile target creature or planeswalker. Its controller creates a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. Now, my theory around this is I'm probably going to be using this on my own creatures, but I'll get through that to that point later. We then have Youthful Valkyrie, which is a Kaldheim card. This is a 1/3 angel with flying. Whenever another angel enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Youthful Valkyrie. Now, the concept later on, as you're going to see, is we're going to try and create as many angels as possible, so these are eventually going to become quite big. We then have Righteous Valkyrie, which is another Kaldheim card. It's a 2/4 for 3 mana, flying. Whenever another angel or cleric enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. As long as you have 7 life more than your starting total, creatures you control get +2/+2. So that's really interesting, because obviously that will also feed the Speaker of the Heavens to give us more angels, then they'll enter, give us more life. So that's how we're looking to get the life total above to trigger both Speaker of the Heavens and the Righteous Valkyrie there. We then have the first Heroing Games. We're splashing a little bit of green here. So it's a saga. So the first step is create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Step 2 is put 3 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. Step 3, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw 2 cards. And then create a gold token. So the idea of that is it buffs some creatures, it gets us a token which we could potentially use with Angelic Ascension and turn it into a 4/4 fly for 2 mana, which is pretty good value. And then also it buffs some creatures and we get a bit of draw as well. We then have 2 Starnheim Aspirants, which is another Kaldheim card. Angel spells you cast cost 2 less. So basically our most expensive angel will be 2 swamps with this. Obviously it also is a cleric, so it helps the Righteous Valkyrie as well. We then have 1 Legion Angel. It will have 3 on the sideboard. So it's a 4 mana, 4/3 flying. When Legion Angel enters the battlefield, you may reveal a card you own named Legion Angel from outside the game, put it onto your hand. So that means basically we can run 4 Legion Angels, but only have to put 1 in the deck. We then have Theorycraft's Retribution, which is really what we're going for with this deck. So Theorycraft's Retribution is a saga. Step 1 is create a 4/4 white angel warrior creature token with flying and vigilance. So basically a Serra Angel. Step 2, until end of turn, angels you control gain tap, destroy type creature with power less than this creature's power. Then step 3 is angels you control gain double strike toward the end of turn. So that is super powerful and could basically clear a board. Especially if you look at things like the first Heroing Games, where you're going to be putting counters potentially on an angel, so you might have a 6/6, 7/7 angel. Having that ability where they can just tap to destroy creatures is super powerful. And then obviously in the third turn, if there are bigger creatures, you've got a bunch of angels that have got double strike to the end of turn, including tokens which you're okay to lose. So it could work out well that way. We then have a Lithoform Engine, which is a legendary artifact. You You pay 2 mana and tap it, and it copies a target activated or triggered ability you control. So that could be a Speaker of the Heavens creating a 4/4 angel, for example. Tap 3 and it copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets, so that could be the Angelic Ascension, or later on it could be the Embers Call. And then pay 4 and tap copy target permanent spell you control. So that could be a Furious Retribution. It could be any of the creatures we've got. So I included this because I didn't want to be fully reliant on the next card, and I'll explain why then. So the next card is Essicas Chariot. So when Essicas Chariot enters the battlefield, create 2/2 green cat creature tokens. Whenever Essicas Chariot attacks, create a token that's a copy of target token you control, and it's a crew 4. So that means I have to tap 4 other creatures before that can attack. So that's a little tricky. So I didn't want to be fully in on 4 Essicas Chariots. I wanted to change that a little bit, just because if we get this early on, we're not really going to be able to utilize it too much. Obviously, it spawns 2 tokens initially, so that's okay. It could also be a case that if we have a Speaker of the Heavens or a Youthful Valkyrie that's not buffed yet on the board, we could do it. But it's a little difficult with it being crew 4. So that's why we've got a few things like the First Heroing Games, and obviously Essicas Chariots themselves create tokens. But it's a little tricky to pull that off. So although eventually we should have enough creatures in the deck, I wanted another way of duplicating creatures. So that's why we've got 1 Nith Form Engine and 3 Essicas Chariots. Then we have 2 Eradicator Valkyries, which is a 4/3 flying lifelink hexproof and planeswalkers. It's got Boast. So Boast is a new ability within Kaldheim. Basically, you can pay the Boast cost if the creature in question has attacked this turn. So you basically do it in your second phase. So I can Boast, pay 2 mana, sacrifice a creature, then each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. So it's a nice little way of tidying up the board whilst we just get rid of a token. Plus, anything with hexproof and planeswalkers is always useful if they've got like an Ugin or something. Then we have Rampage of the Valkyries, which is an enchantment. When Rampage of the Valkyries enters the battlefield, create a 4/4 white angel token with flying and vigilance. Whenever an angel you control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature. So that has a big ramification on the opponent, combining it with the Eradicator Valkyrie. So if you do the Boast ability with the Eradicator Valkyrie, in theory, you sacrifice 1 creature, they have to sacrifice 2. Now, obviously, if we get into that stage again where we've got these on the board, we're probably going to have a few creatures on the board anyway, so we could probably afford to lose a 4/4 token. So that could be really powerful as a combination. And then we have Embers Call, which is a land card, but also it's create 2 4/4 white angel warrior creature tokens with flying. Non-angel creatures you control gain indestructible to your end of next turn. The main reason for this is just to get more angels on the board. It's also a land drop if we need. It's pretty simple. Obviously, we could potentially copy that for 3 mana as well. Obviously, we'd have to have a lot of land down. So a late game, that could be 10 mana to get 4/4 angels with flying, which is super powerful. So that could be a sort of a late game win con if we get to that point. And for the mana base, we're running 4 Branch Loft Pathways, 4 Bright Climb Pathways, 2 Fable Passages, 1 Forest, 2 Swamps, 4 Plains, and 4 Triomes. The Indantha Triome creates Plains, Swamp, or Forest. Bright Climb Pathways are either swamps or plains, and the Branch Loft Pathways are either plains or forests. That should be a good enough mana base to cover everything. We're running 1 individual forest and 2 swamps in case we hit the Fable Passage and need the basic lands. So we're running those as well. So that's the deck in its entirety. I think this will be really fun to play. It's one I'll definitely be looking to craft when Kaldheim releases. I think this could be a fairly popular, especially initially, this would be a fairly popular archetype of deck to have. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Leave any comments below on any other suggestions you would do to the deck as well. We'll be back with a Giants archetype Theorycraft next week, and I will see you guys then.